Yeah. So glad to have her covering.
Yeah, I think I covered most of their time, but you were out that.
Someone raise concerns about noise, period. You don't. There was comment about, I'm so happy for our cheering. Correct. And then you're like, okay. It's always like putting people together. Yeah, four colors. Yeah, stuff. It's gonna be a opportunity. Definitely. I'm Jasmine Basavita. We have all commissioners present today. And let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Harding, would you lead us? Commissioner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda.
Point of order. President Basavita, I don't know that people online can see the meeting. We don't have a
Normally.
Oh, show. The screen's normally different on our screen. I think it's
normally we can see the meeting room.
You want, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna put the presentation.
Wanted to make sure the people online could see. That
Okay.
was all I was asking.
And what Commissioner Basavita can see on that second screen is what people are viewing. Can you see the?
She has it in
Right.
gallery.
Yeah.
She got gallery view.
Okay, so point of order has been resolved.
Yes, thank you.
This is our continued engagement with hybrid meetings. Sometimes it's hard for us to know what's happening. So, okay, thank you. Let's go to the agenda. Do I have a motion about approval of the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda? Any seconds?
Second.
Is there discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So motion carries. We have an agenda for today. And I'm glad we get to go straight into the executive director report so we can greet our visitors.
Yes, indeed. Fortunately, they're gonna have to wait till the end of my report. Sorry in advance. Okay, sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. Righty, let's see if we can. Oh, not yet. There we go. Okay, oops, this is. Hold on 2 seconds, we'll get it dialed in. This in presentation mode. Okay, there we go. Excellent, thank you. We wanted to make sure to welcome 2 new people in our finance department. Kimberly Vile is a temporary accounting person who's going to help us out throughout some backlog, which is great. We're very happy that she's joined us. And TJ Crowley is our new accounts payable coordinator. So very excited. He started last week on the 3rd, and we look forward to having our finance team finally be up and running, fully staffed. Also, we want to welcome Harold Hunter. Harold is our new Marina and Facilities Maintenance foreperson, the position that Damien Egan held before. Harold started today, his first official day, and he has actually worked with the port before. He's been summer help as our harbor operations assistant and grounds maintenance assistant, and we're very glad to have Harold on board. We also wanted to congratulate our tenant, the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Tumwater. They had a grand opening and renovation. We wanted to also thank the city of Tumwater and the Thurston County Chamber for hosting the ribbon cutting ceremony and for their continued commitment to the well-being and prosperity in Tumwater. And we also want to thank Commissioner Sanders, who came and gave some remarks at the ribbon cut. Then I think it was last week, we had Port Day at the Capitol, and we want to thank the Washington Public Ports Association for hosting yet another great day where all the ports could come together and speak with their legislators and also speak with some new state officials in the new Ferguson administration. We heard from some state officials, including heads of, say, the Department of Ecology and Department of Commerce, Department of Transportation, and then we also wanted to thank Kelsey Hulse, who enabled us to meet with our Thurston County legislators about our port priorities. Also new this month is Bud Inlet sampling. Last Tuesday, a research vessel started out in Bud Inlet to collect sediment samples in West Bay. Folks may recall we did sampling in East Bay over the past year or so, and now we're moving on to do the sampling in West Bay. Sample results from East Bay have been verified and are being prepared to send to the Department of Ecology, and we'll share those as soon as we have Ecology's approval. And then the work in West Bay will continue through mid-March in the sampling, but the results will take a lot longer to analyze. So by the end of this year, we hope to have that. Also wanted to talk a little bit about the airport master plan update. Just wanted to reiterate and remind folks that on the master plan update, there was a 30-day public comment period. The deadline or the comment period ends on February 12th. We also issued last week a SEPA mitigated determination of non-significance, and comments are due on that document on February 20th. We're also having a quest, I think we're going to call it a Q&A rather than a town hall. February 26th at 5:30 p.m. here in the Olympics room for folks who just want to come and ask questions of our airport director and our environmental director, and some commissioners may also attend as well, and just wanted to answer folks' questions about the airport master plan update. And I know folks, we've heard some concern about not evaluating cumulative impacts as part of the SEPA mitigated determination of non-significance, and just wanted folks to know that there's a case out there that folks have been mentioning, King County versus Friends of Sammamish. We're aware of that, and we took that into account as we did the SEPA evaluation on this. And we determined from looking at that case and other relevant SEPA cases that the cumulative impacts analysis will happen when the port takes an action that facilitates future action, something like a rezone or a development agreement or site preparation, or if it's a project action, when the port takes an action that will result in another action happening. Then we'll do cumulative analysis. The airport master plan only identifies areas where things could occur. It doesn't authorize any projects. Nothing can happen out at the airport pursuant to the master plan until the commission approves that future project. Just want to clarify that. And then we also, last but not least, we wanted to welcome a delegation from Latvia. They're here as part of a program sponsored by the Congressional Office for International Leadership, and consists of all sorts of young to mid-career professionals, all of you from diverse fields, and who have come to deepen their understanding of civil society development in the United States. And they wanted to come and look at different mechanisms of civic engagement and government, and they wanted to observe you, the Port of Olympia Commission, in action. So were we gonna, yeah, do you guys want to come on up and introduce yourselves? We'd love to hear more about you.
So I will speak on behalf of the delegation. My name is Katya Miltimore, and I'm a community member and a citizen here. I'm also a member of West Olympia Rotary Club. So Rotary Club network here in Olympia is robust, alive and well. And as an international organization, we have opportunities to participate in international development projects, including development of stronger economic and cultural ties and welcoming different delegations. So West Olympia Rotary this year is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We have a number of different things that we are working on, including gifting a Squaxin Island Tribe artwork to the city of Olympia at the Rotary Point Park at West Bay Park. And then another one really exciting project that we're doing for the first time is welcoming a delegation from a foreign country to do that. So today is our first official day of meetings. We've met with YMCAs, we've met with the City of Olympia Parks Arts and Recreation Department. We went to the Washington Center for the Performing Arts, and here we are at Port of Olympia. Tomorrow we're going to the City Council, state government and legislature, as well as meeting with several other nonprofits. We are exactly here for that purpose, to observe democracy in action. I've shared with our guests that all the commissioners are elected, so you're all volunteered to do this work, which we thank and applaud you for. And then we also know that sometimes at these meetings, there's an opportunity for public comment, and that is of particular importance for countries like Latvia, who are working on strengthening their democratic institutions and developing citizen engagement in their own countries. So we really appreciate the opportunity to say hello. Thank you for the warm welcome, and we're excited to be here.
Commissioner?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Oh, good being here. Thank you. Oh, this is
We're so glad you're here. It's so fun. Oh, yeah, this is Commissioner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, pick. Sorry.
Where you going?
Front and center. Get everybody in here?
Everybody? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the theme of public engagement, here are the various opportunities for public engagement with the port. Commission meetings, our website, through our social media platforms, port tours, direct calls and emails, requesting a meeting with port staff, or requesting a speaker. That is it. Thank you, Commission President Savada.
Thank you for your report, Director Smith. So we'll now move on to public comment, and I'll just take a note that we limit individual public comments to 3 minutes per person. We welcome you to comment on agenda items and other port business. We have policies that comments should be directed to the commission as a whole, and should not include comments about individual port staff or members of the public. Courtesy, all speakers, including commissioners, shall be courteous in language and demeanor and shall confine remarks to those facts that are germane and relevant to the question or issue under discussion. And with that, I'd like to open up public comment. And I don't have a list yet. Commenter, thank you, Missy. We'll be Sharon Koontz on the Airport Master Plan.
Hello, Commissioner. Sharon Koontz, live down on Tilley Road, south of the airport. First, I'd like to beg you all to look at a letter, and Alex, I'm sure, can find it since it was written to her back in 2013, when she was in a different job here, but same old story, Airport Master Plan. It was written 11/8 of, or sent anyway, 11/8 of 2013 from Michelle Turhi and Teresa Nation of WDFW, wherein they make a lot of comments about concerns about master plans and this airport. And it's not irrelevant. It's incredibly relevant now too. They point out that we only have about 10% left of our native prairie habitat systems, and of that, only 3% is actually considered high quality prairie habitat. And guess where it is? It's on the airport property. Many of the prairie plants, many of the prairie species are found on your property. And several butterflies species that were formerly inhabited the Olympia Regional Airport, including the state and federally endangered Taylor's checker spot. They have remnants of their habitat here, and there's a whole bunch of hope of restoring some of those critters to our area. So we're hoping, and they were hoping, that a full EIS would be done by this port, so that you could really analyze all the fact that there is, and this is important, there is no single landowner that has a greater influence on the persistence or the existence of prairie associated species than the Olympia Regional Airport. That's you. You're the largest landowner of remaining prairie. I think Michelle Thierry wrote this and Teresa Nation. It is an artifact of history that the airport remains as a large contiguous block of open grassland while surrounding areas of prairie. They asked for a full EIS. And that is certainly something that we're going to ask too. Do you know when the last study was done, complete study of the airport property? 1994. Since that time, do you know how many incremental changes have been made? I don't, but I do know there are plenty, and you can check on that. You need to do, please, a long overdue environmental impact statement for the airport property. I know I heard what Alex said, but it's really kind of not the same thing. You need to look at the entire property and see what's going on and what has gone on and not just take it step by step. I think you all know, or you should know, that piecemealing is not allowed under the State Environmental Policy Act. And that's exactly what the report has in mind here. I also hope you'll commit to protecting the airport acreage that is federally designated critical habitat and the species that that habitat protects. So no endangered or threatened species are lost forever, which is a serious danger as you start reading this airport master plan. I think it was very clever that they changed things. There's no place to see where your time is. Is there any place where I could tell? Okay. It is tiny, but it wasn't there when I was looking before. Can I just say that the MDNS, or the idea that, well, I completely lost my point. Okay. The idea that we would do an MDNS on approving or rather adopting a plan is meaningless. It's that the plan itself has to be looked at and the SEPA designations have to apply to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Grant Roston from Stop Olympia Airport Growth, please.
Good evening. My name is Grant Roston, and I live in Thurston County since 1980. What I have to say is to Stop Olympia Growth. Our family is supported by our farming, and over 30 years, we participated in the Olympia Farmers Market. The pollution created by airplanes is detrimental to our environment and everything and everyone, you, me, and the children of tomorrow. Using clean energy and clean ways of living, i.e. clean streams, lakes, and collecting runoff, to mention a few. It seems that Thurston County has numerous ways it's been addressing clean living. Many of them would go by the wayside and by adopting the Olympia Airport Growth. I say no for the Olympia Airport or Thurston County Airport Growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jan Witt on the Airport Master Plan.
Hi.
Oh, again.
Oops. Is my time going? Thank you. My name is Jan Witt and I live in Olympia. My printer broke, so I'm talking off of my cell phone. But I wanted to refer to something that Sharon referred to about the habitat of the Olympia Airport. I wish I'd brought a letter from a colonel at Fort Lewis who wrote a letter describing how crucial prairie land at the airport is for survival of numerous species that are now threatened and endangered. And I will send that letter to you when I get home. Airport planners who've drafted the airport master plan update repeatedly indicate that the update's primary objectives excuse me, are to create a plan that positions the airport to meet future aviation demand and is responsive to wishes of current airport users. A striking thing about the update and the SEPA documents that go along with it is that there's a total disregard for those who would be subjected to adverse impacts of increases in aircraft operations that the plan is designed to accommodate. The mitigated determination of non-significance fails to address significant community concerns about impacts already occurring as a result of incremental airport expansion. And some of those impacts are related to ever increasing numbers of low-flying aircraft over neighborhoods, schools, and parks. There are numerous public health concerns related to that, and I have a letter that I'll be sending you later. I don't have time to discuss all of that. But what's missing is a thorough analysis of the true costs of airport growth, financial and otherwise. And that's where I believe commissioners come in, because your task should not be only to take into account desires of the aviation industry and airport users, but also to consider the best interests of your constituents and the community as a whole. Some of the ways that I believe you can do that is, number one, please listen to what people are saying. I understand that the port has stated the public comments pertaining to the update that are submitted before Wednesday will be included as an appendix to the airport master plan. I hope that those comments are available to you as soon as that comment period ends so that you can read them. Second thing that I would request is that when questions or controversies about things such as proper legal procedure or process come up, please consult attorneys other than only ones that the port has hired to bring forth and defend port staff decisions. There are various interpretations of SEPA law, and I think that you will find port interpretations to be quite different. For instance, an environmental attorney. I'm not an attorney, but I have been hearing some really unique interpretations of SEPA process and law come out of the port lately, and I would like to see you get second opinions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Anita Thompson on the Airport Master Plan.
Hello. Port Commission for volunteering for this work. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Port Commissioners, for doing this important work. I'm Anita Thompson. I live in West Olympia, and I'm concerned about the people who will be impacted by expanding the airport, because I would think that there will be planes flying over their homes. And a lot of them are low-income people, as I see it. There's a lot of mobile home parks between the Pioneer Park area and where the airport is. And so I think they will be impacted. And there was just an article, I think it was from the New York Times, about an area in Los Angeles, right between the beach and the LAX airport, where people invested their money, people with not a lot of money, and they were trying to come up in the world. And then the LA airport expanded and it became a ghost town. And that is so sad to see that happen. So I would hate to see that happen in our prairie around the airport area. And I would also like to see a full EIS report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Next, we have Debbie Patton taking a different topic, commission rules or rules? Rules.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Good grief. All right, here we go. Debbie Patton, I've been a resident of unincorporated Thurston County District 3 since 1982. And I wanted to just jump ahead on the agenda to item H in the action calendar, where Director Smith's going to talk about the commission rules resolution. And I just wanted to say I'm totally in favor of this, especially number 8 about changing the timing for the public comment. I've been coming to these commission meetings for decades, and I know I've seen a lot of frustration from the public when they give comment or ask questions, but the commissioners can't respond. And so then the citizens leave frustrated, and then I imagine they call you or email you and want you to answer their questions. I think this new plan might really help, because then when you get to that action item, then you can actually answer their questions or give more detailed information that you have that they don't have. And then they'll feel validated, or that you know. that you've listened to them, or, they come out better educated once they know all the details. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on also is in the action calendar, and it's the first item about the budget amendment for the building purchase. I don't want to steal Director Smith's thunder, because I know I read the packet, so I won't give all the financial details of it because I know it's upcoming. But I do want to say, I think it's a huge, huge savings to the port and the taxpayers to get out from under the $300,000 a year rent. I mean, that's just crazy. I've been advocating for many years that we buy a building or build a building. So this is a wonderful opportunity, especially given that the building is on port land. You already own the land. We already own the land. So 100% for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ms. Patton serves on our Port of Olympia Community Citizen Advisory Committee, just to note. Next, we have Rhonda Larson Kramer on the Airport Master Plan.
Let me get my timer here, but I'm not having success. All right, so my name is Rhonda Larson Kramer and I live in Olympia, and I have just a couple things to say. I wanted to mention that when I first started getting interested in this topic, I was very confused by the fact that the website refers to the 2021 master plan update. And I'm like, why would they call it the 2021 master plan update? It's 2025. And yesterday or the day before, I discovered that staff was telling people that there was no more influence that citizens could have because this was begun in 2021. Now I know why it's called the 2021 Master Plan Update, because it makes people think that the community members cannot have any more say into what's going on. So I just wanted to point that out. So I also heard it said that we aren't going to do a lot of what's in this plan. And so it's really, you don't have too much to worry about. I would say, why put it in the plan if we don't have to worry about it? That's very concerning. I also would say I haven't heard, as Jan said, I haven't heard anybody really talk about the biggest problem of this plan, and that is what it's going to do to the human beings, let alone gophers and other species. It's going to cause noise, which is considered one, if not the most detrimental environmental effect of aviation. This is sufficient. There is sufficient evidence for a marked negative effect of aircraft noise exposure on children's cognitive skills. There's also sufficient evidence that aircraft noise disturbs sleep and can impair sleep recuperation. I also haven't heard anybody really talk about the fact that studies consistently show that ultrafine particulate matter, UFP, from airplanes is elevated in and around airports and drifts miles from the airport. And I did send commissioners a video from a PhD talking about this at a small airport the size of Olympia's. This is kind of new research, so it's not well known. So I totally understand that you may not really have a grasp of it, but it research indicates that increased health impacts near airports from this include premature death, preterm births, decreased lung function. So this is huge. And I'm running out of time, so I think I'll just leave it at that. I want to hear talks about the pollution and the noise. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. We have 9 hands raised on the remote people wishing to testify. So I'll take them in order as they appear on my screen. And I think we then don't have the topics for these people, but I will call Randy Tompkins.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for your service, your hard work and the way you look at things, and for this opportunity. I'm wanted to speak about the airport expansion. I'm not in favor of that. I'm a lifelong Puget Sound resident, lived in Thurston County now for the last 10 years. And we have planes fly over now and helicopters, and it's really distracting and bothersome where I live, which is close to Boston Harbor Elementary. So my biggest concerns, of course, as already voiced, are about the noise pollution, the air pollution. Those in themselves are huge, and the environmental damage. But I also have questions about the feasibility of this. If the idea is to relieve some of the congestion at SeaTac in response to the governor's request, there are over 100 airports all over Washington State, and probably over 100 right here in the Puget Sound area. They expanded the airport in Everett, the Payne Field. It's struggling. It's struggling right now. It has taken almost no volume away from SeaTac. The airport up in Bellingham International Airport, struggling. So if the idea is if we build it, they will come. I know that happens in a movie that I saw once, but I don't think it's feasible. I think we will waste time and money, and it won't do anything to alleviate traffic. People can go to Portland. I know people that live in Lewis County. They won't come up to Olympia to fly out. They go to Portland. We have a very small center here. The biggest employer is the state. So we won't be bringing in business people, business flights, unless we're talking about lobbyists. So I hope we're not trying to accommodate lobbyists so they don't have to drive up and down the freeway from SeaTac. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Tompkins. Next up is Laura Newberry.
Hi, I just want to thank you all for allowing us to have this time, the public to comment on our concerns. I wanted to talk about the airport expansion. I'm a resident of Thurston County and I do live near the airport. I'm actually listening to airport traffic overhead right now as I'm giving this. I read the master plan and I have some concerns that I feel are not being addressed by the port. A lot of those have been expressed already. And that is really with the impact of the residents in our community to the airport. It seems that the commission is really just looking at what is best for the airport and not taking into account the people that live here all the time, that work here, that make up the community. And I really would hope that the port would take our concerns at heart and show us that you take our concerns to heart by doing actions that answer our questions and our concerns. My concerns are the same as others, predominantly noise and nighttime noise. We hear airplanes at night. It does wake us and our children at night. I have concerns with commercial jets. I don't believe we are going to overtake SeaTac or alleviate SeaTac traffic, especially I was listening a lot to that extra airport they were looking at. It doesn't look like a regional airport is the answer, but I have concerns about small commercial planes, cargo planes starting in Olympia, and to really think if that's what the community wants. Are we a small regional airport or are we a commercial airport? And I think our community, we'd all agree, we are a small regional airport. We don't want commercial traffic. I also have concerns about decreased property value, and airport expansion and increased airport traffic is going to have an impact on that and the homeowners and the business owners and our quality of life. So I would really hope that the port would take these concerns to heart and to show us that you are by addressing our concerns, not because you don't have to, but because you should, and listening to the citizens of the community. You don't have to do an environment impact statement study, but why not, to alleviate our concerns? Why not listen to us more about noise and make a plan to reduce noise overhead to ease our concerns? I understand the airport is here to stay. I would just hope that the airport and the port would operate as a good neighbor to the surrounding community. Again, thank you so much for all the work you guys do and for listening to the community tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Newberry. Next is John Newman.
Oh, hello, commissioners. Hello, commissioners. Can you hear?
We hear you, Mr. Newman. Or we did.
Okay, okay, now. Good evening, commissioners. I have been a longtime resident here in the county since 1983. As we move forward in time into 2025, I would like to review the decision process at the port. There are 3 parts of representation. There is the port staff and management team. There are the 5 commissioners, and of course, there are the property owners that fund part of the port's operations. The management staff assumes that their suggestions are the best, but it is also important to understand that the property owners and voters also follow the port's functions and make their suggestions for operations. The 5 commissioners listen to the voters and the staff to decide what to do. The main issue for me as a property owner and voter is to question the approval of the Olympia Master Plan, Airport Master Plan update. The plan does not address the bad effects of increased air flights and training flights on the residents of the area. There are no noise limits or nighttime limitation on flights. The residents have been informing the staff and the commissioners on these issues. These questions have not been addressed. The master plan should not be approved now. The public needs to have their input added to the rewrite of the plan. The 5 commissioners must listen to the voters and address their questions. Do not approve this airport master plan. The increase in air traffic will cause noise and air pollution. An analysis has to be done first to answer the resident questions. The commission needs to approve an environmental impact statement before the update is approved. An EIS will address the concerns of the public. It is the duty of the commissioners to represent the public in the port's actions, as other speakers have pointed out. Thank you very much.
Point of order, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Newman.
I just wanted to refer us back to Resolution 2023-08, Article 6, Section B 1 and 3, that we do 30 minutes of public comment at the beginning of the meeting and then defer additional public comment till the end. So I just wanted to bring that to the order.
Okay. I think does anyone know what time we began public comment?
I believe that was 9 or 10. I started keeping tally, so 9. So I think this next one will be 10 people, which is what the resolution says.
I see.
Previously, just for context, if I may, we have put it at the end in some cases, and we have voted to continue forward if there were only a couple left and it wasn't disruptive to the rest of the agenda. So at your discretion.
So we have a policy that would put the rest of these people seeking to testify until the end of the meeting. Do we have any motion to suspend the policy or any other approach, or do we want to? Otherwise, I will be moving forward with the policy as stated.
How many additional public commenters are there?
I believe we have 9, and 1 actually was added after the last time when I said how many. I think another approach would be to limit further comment to 60 seconds for each person. But I will then just call up one more speaker and we'll follow that policy. Thank you, Commissioner Harding. So the next speaker in line is Carla Wolfsburg.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Carla Wolfsburg and I live in Tumwater. I don't know if I have 60 seconds or 3 minutes, but I'd like to comment on a couple of issues. The first one is that airport master plan update, and I asked, as others have, that you do not approve this plan until a full environmental impact statement addresses the many changes that this plan includes, and many of them may be very negative. So please listen to the concerns of your constituents, as well as the concerns of the Washington State Department of Wildlife. And I hope you will take this very seriously and consider it. Second, I'd like to comment on the consent calendar, and it's the number 1 option to lease, a lease agreement, number 6 for Panattoni in the Newmarket Industrial Campus in Tumwater. And I'd like to read from a letter that was sent to all of you a year ago, March 25th, 2024, from a former Port Commissioner, E.J. Zeta, who explains how this Panattoni lease came into existence. And she has some, I'll try to read it quickly. So quote, when 2 members of the Old Port Commission approved the Panattoni deal in 2020, we had incomplete information and it was a bad decision. You may have the opportunity to correct that error now. The Old Port Executive Director rushed the Panattoni deal through with very little discussion by the commission. We were asked to rubber stamp agreements with little analysis or advance notice. A sketchy final analysis was approved the same day it was presented, with important questions unanswered. We never completed a real market analysis or a cost-benefit analysis, and we ignored the Newmarket Industrial Campus Master Plan and Ecosystem Services analysis. So over 800 concerned neighbors signed a petition opposing the Panattoni deal, and hundreds testified at port meetings in opposition, citing concerns about public safety, economics, flooding, and lots more. Tumwater's mayor offered an interlocal agreement addressing many community concerns, but the port's executive director dismissed Tumwater's proposal without even consulting the commission. So she goes on to say that we were promised great profits from Panattoni, but how much has the port spent on this option? And how much has Panattoni delivered? And how much trust has the port lost in the community and with local governments over this bad deal? So she goes on to say a lot more. I hope you can read that letter again. I agree wholeheartedly with her, and I do not, I hope that you will not extend the lease option without a complete financial cost-benefit analysis. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wolfsberg. With that, I hope, Missy, you'll take the names of the people who've had their hands up, and we will be able to return to them at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, the hands raised as well.
All right, thank you. And with that, we will suspend public comment for this meeting and move forward with the consent calendar. First, we have the option, oh no, this has 3 items.
Motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
Any discussion? Well, then with that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the consent calendar is approved. Moving forward to pending issues or business, we have none. So the action calendar today, I was going to explain to our delegation what that meant, but
Commission President Sabata, tonight, you would budget amendment for the purchase of the Dancing Goats building. We'll go again over the history of the building very briefly. Also the 2025 capital budget amendment, the amount and how that breaks down, and then a request also for authorization to sign the purchase and sale agreement with Dancing Goats. So once again, signed a 50-year lease with what was then Batdorf and Bronson in 1997 for just shy of 1.5 acres on port property right next to our marine terminal. The building was constructed in 1998. It's a pre-engineered metal building, and currently it has a mix of office space and industrial warehouse uses. The request for the capital budget amendment is $2,157,850. That is breaks down to $2,152,500 for the building, and then $5,350 for other assets, non-fixed assets that were inside the building that we would like to purchase as well. The source of the conserve funds. And the purpose again is for future use is port administrative offices, and why we'd like to do that is location. It is adjacent to our most visible port assets. And then also the cost. Currently, to rent this space for commission meeting space in our administrative offices, we spend just around $300,000 a year. If we were to build a new facility, it would cost upwards of $700 a square foot. The cost to purchase just this building is $147 per square foot. And the cost to purchase the building and improve the building for our needs is $235 a square foot. I had questions as well about the waterfront center. We just want to reassure people that that is still moving forward. Initially, we had proposed to build a waterfront center that would include port administrative offices, as well as new marina offices. We still need those marina offices. And so we're moving forward with that analysis. An architectural firm has done a market analysis for the waterfront center on site D, and we'll come back to the commission later with a presentation and next steps. So I have two sample motions for you because we need 2 actions from you this evening. The first is a motion to amend the 2025 capital budget to add $2,157,850 for the purchase of the Dancing Goats building. And a second request for a motion to authorize the executive director to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the Dancing Goats building. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Move to amend.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm very happy with the way the information you put together to explain the financial decision to purchase this building on existing port property for our offices. And I appreciate that staff are giving up some really nice views that they currently have in the more expensive office that we lease. I think there's actually some sacrifice because I've been in those beautiful offices. My question, or what I'd like to raise is, you assured us that the Waterfront Center is still moving forward, and that didn't assure me because although I think we want to, as a commission, continue to look for the opportunity that the Waterfront Center could present to host cultural and other amenities and recreational amenities for our community, I think that part of the Waterfront Center was supposed to be these offices, and we are now saving money by not having it there. So can you please clarify what you meant when you assured us that the Waterfront Center is still moving forward?
Just we had outlined some steps for the Waterfront Center that included first doing a market analysis and then doing some programming and evaluating what kinds of uses and other organizations might want to share in that space. The difference now is it's likely to be a smaller facility because we don't need an entire floor dedicated to port administrative offices. But we're still having conversations with other members of the community that might want to participate in a Waterfront Center. Organizations like Olympia Community Sailing. We still have conversations going with some educational institutions as well. So
you're saying our feasibility analysis and programming analysis is moving forward. The commission is not yet authorized in any way.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I
move forward.
I apologize for my ambiguity. The commission is not at all authorized that we actually are building a building. The commission is only authorized that we continue to explore opportunities.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm excited to continue exploring opportunities there because I think the transition from port offices to another community facing or revenue generating opportunity to me would be more exciting than where we were. So, and given Commissioner Montano, Commissioner Tong has a new name, so that's exciting. Commissioner Montano, I think was the one who made the motion to reduce the scope that we were moving forward with on the Waterfront Center. So we were starting with just exploration, which I think is great. And I think that will allow us to pivot if needed. So
exactly, and we'll be able to look at the highest and best use of the property.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Before we move forward to your project.
Absolutely. Without any further questions or comments?
I will make the comment after I make the motion, if that's okay.
Okay, do we have a motion from Commissioner Harding?
Well, someone else can make the motion. This is like a popular one, so somebody else should do it. Move to amend the 2025 capital budget to add $2,157,850 for the purchase of the Dancing Goats building.
Second.
If I may. I think that this has the least dissent of anything that the port has come to in my tenure as a commissioner. So I take that as we're moving in the right direction and this has community support. I think it's sad for a lot of community members to see Dancing Goats not roasting there anymore. And so that's a lot of the feedback I've had is that seeing it being, whether it's port offices or whether there's an expansion on that, seeing it be something that's a community asset really makes people feel good. So I'm excited about it.
Any other discussion?
I just think it's a real proactive approach to asset management. I think it's a great move for the port. I think it's a testament to the port's ability to be flexible and nimble in cases where we can take advantage of an opportunity like this. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, I agree with that. All in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion carries. And do we have another motion?
I move to authorize the executive director to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the Dancing Goats building.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Just exciting. I think it's gonna be great having the commission space as well and see what kind of community amenities we can build in there.
What I'm most excited about is having a possible commission space that's really built to be multi-purpose and shared with the community for other values. And of course, we'll fix that microphone at that point. Okay, with that, I think all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to the second item on our action calendar, Commission Rules Resolution. Alex Smith, Executive Director.
Thank you, Commission President Savada, coming back with the request for action on amendments to the Commission resolution on conducting business. And there's a couple of differences from what I presented to you in the advisory I just wanted to highlight. So again, how you conduct business, as Commissioner Harding pointed out just this evening, is governed by Resolution 23-08. In response to discussion with the Commission, we've been proposed changes to the resolution, the workload more manageable for the Commission, allow staff and the Commission to be more responsive to public comment at the meeting where the comment is made, and make the Commission meeting more efficient. Proposed changes are to change from 3 to 2 scheduled meetings a month. We're moving regularly scheduled work sessions and instead holding them as needed or desired. We're allowing for increased use of the consent agenda, and we're concentrating public comment on all items on the agenda into a single early in the meeting. And again, that allows staff and the Commission to better respond to that public comment when that item comes up on the agenda. Also, here's one of the differences I failed to highlight in the advisory is that the Commission has a policy on public participation. It's policy 127. It was last updated in 2019. If the resolution is updated, the rules resolution is updated as proposed, policy 127 will also need to be updated, make parallel changes to it. So it would be to change again in this month, changes in the timing of public comment at Commission meetings. We also specifically include in that policy town halls, which is in response to requests we've received. So a sample motion, or actually 2 motions for the Commission, and happy to answer any questions.
Move to adopt resolution 2025-03, amending resolution 2023-08 regarding the transaction of court business at commission meetings.
Second.
May I give comment, Chair?
Yes, please.
I am excited about the content of these changes. I think they're responsive to how we're getting. I also just want to notice that Chris Pierce Wright is not here, but he did a really thorough job of just making the document read better. And amending resolutions and bylaws like this is a tedious job, so I appreciate that. And he's not here, but his boss is. So Chris is doing a great job of giving us good advice and making us more practical. So
thank you.
Oh, and I'm also very excited about the addition of town halls. I think it shows the commitment of this entire organization to be engaged with the public in a more meaningful way. I think that we have continued to hear that from you. There's some being at the podium for 3 minutes is not the same thing as having a more dialogue. So hope that you will be happy to see those changes.
Any further discussion? Well, I'd like to comment as well. One, building on Commissioner Harding's comment, the town halls are especially a stretch by staff because staff are the ones putting themselves out there to engage. So I just want to note my appreciation of that. And then secondly, my mind is distracted because today we've heard a lot of comments on the airport master plan and one comment on Panattoni, which are both items that are not up for any kind of action or briefing today. And so I'm kind of percolating. I just want to flag that on. We don't have the item in our agenda to be responsive directly today on the master planning input, but we will have that opportunity, both as it informs the town hall discussion in 2 weeks, and our engagement with staff on the master plan. So thank you, and you are heard, although there's not that point in the agenda today for us to reflect that. Okay, with that, I think, we were in the middle of the first motion. Any other comments on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion carries. Second motion? Did we already do both motions? Sarah.
Okay, I move to adopt changes to Commission Policy 127 as proposed.
Second.
Comment?
Yeah, I just think these are great changes, and I think eliminating the work session will not only save staff time, which we all appreciate, but free us all up to do more town halls and community.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving forward to the advisory calendar. We have James Summer, Capital Assets Program Manager, to tell us about information technology services vendor contract approval. I warn you, there's some major expertise up here at the commission.
Good evening, commissioners. For everyone in attendance, my name is James Summer. I am the Capital Assets Program Manager here at the Port of Olympia. And as mentioned, I'm here to present on the Information Technology Services Contract Award. So today's presentation is advisory only. There is no action required or requested. I'm going to talk a little bit about the scope of the IT services contract, the current contract background, the solicitation process and where we are, and then next steps moving forward. So the IT provider really supports the staff and operations as well as the commission. Most of you will interface with this consultant via our help desk. They do phone calls, they do the ticketing system. And then internally, we have a port IT staff or a port IT committee that meets with them as well. They help us with things like infrastructure design and management, network design, implementation, and software support. So really, they're just helping us to plan for the future, see where we're at, make sure we're using best practices and standards. They also help with technical management, which includes things like network security, data backup, network communications. They help us with virus audits, hardware tests, driver updates, licensing, as well as just general monitoring of our network and systems. Our current contract is held by Firefly Technologies. We contracted with them in March of 2022, so just about 3 years ago. Their current contract actually expires at the end of this month, so February 28th. Apologize for the typo there. And as mentioned, we utilize a third-party consultant just to make sure that we are following best practice and standard, as we are not IT professionals ourselves. So the solicitation process. So this actually started in October of last year. We released a request for qualifications, and we had those due December 6th of last year with a scoring deadline of December 20th. And so the purpose for the RFQ was really to pre-qualify vendors, make sure that they were qualified to provide services to the port, and to make sure that as we scored them, that they would handle our needs. Once we got all the statement of qualifications in, there was 12 people who submitted. Of those 12, 5 were determined to be qualified to provide services to the port. At that point, we invited those 5 firms to the port on January 14th of this year. We took them around to all the different port facilities, showed them our infrastructure and our networks, as well as allowed them to ask questions about how we use our provider, what services we use, and really just get a better understanding of our needs and our infrastructure. Then on January 30th, we sent out a request for proposal to those pre-qualified firms. Said, hey, after seeing what we need and the current status, if you are interested in being our vendor, please go ahead and provide us a proposal. Those proposals are actually due back today. I believe the deadline has just closed, so we will be reviewing those in the very near future. Next steps after today is we will interview vendors if it is required based on those proposals. And then I will be back on the 24th of this month asking for a contract approval. And so as I mentioned, next steps will be February 24th. So that's our next commission meeting. And I will be bringing this back most likely as an action item for your approval. And with that, I would ask for any questions or comments.
My question may be more geared towards Alex, but I'm curious how this contract fits in with the Director of Enterprise Services hiring and the IT professional we're seeking there.
Yeah, we are waiting to hear from our top candidate for the Director of Enterprise Services. Ideally, we'd love to have them engaged to the point where they could also participate in at least reviewing or interviewing the people. And then we do want them to be part of hiring an internal IT manager and then have them all work together with this outside consultant. And I believe we structured the RFQ or RFP to for the future where we will have an internal IT manager.
Okay, great. That was my next question. So it is structured to include the new manager. Yeah. So the cost should go down some from what we're paying Firefly. I would think.
Yes, that's the.
Okay.
I think I'd like to take public comment and then does our question, we have opportunity for questions of staff after the public comment?
Typically, I think we have the questions for staff first and then the public comment after.
Any other questions? All right, then let's take public comment on this agenda item. We still had hands up from before. How will people indicate if they're online and they'd like to comment on this agenda item? Please do so by putting, I guess, a reaction or putting your hand down and up again. Missy, we're gonna have to come up with a better system here.
Okay.
Tom, was it Tom Mumford who's going on and off?
And Michelle.
Okay, please, Mr. Mumford? No?
Mumford. Tom Mumford. Tom. I'm asking him to unmute.
I'm here.
Do you wish to comment on on this item of the IT services vendor contract?
No, I was going to comment on the airport expansion. Thank you.
Well, great. We'll turn to that in just a moment. Is there?
Thank you. All right.
Is there anyone here for the IT services contract? All right. Well, if so, you can join us at the end of the meeting as we take comment on everything else. With that, I just want to take a chair's prerogative to note that, Mr. Harding, that policy of the 30 minutes is a new one that we were just now adopting for the and shifting. No,
it wasn't. It's from 2023.
Okay, terrific. I saw it in underline in the new. Okay, great. Thank you. So with that, let's go to commissioner reports and discussion. Can I go back to public comment now? We're done with this.
Oh, as far as I gotcha. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be at the very end or.
I'm gonna do it here before we go to commissioner reports and discussion. Sorry for that, because we do have 6 people still waiting. I would like to ask each of the remaining people to limit their comment to 2 minutes. And thank you for that. And with that, I'm gonna again go in the order of my screen. I do think we need to work out some better sign-in systems so that we can keep track of who's signed in on what topic. And so I'm gonna ask that of staff. And right now I'll call Diane King.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ms. King.
Okay, I'm Diane J. King, and I live at 4325 Sinclair Loop in Lacey. And I've been a resident of Olympia for about 78 years. I would like to add my voice to those who oppose the expansion of the airport because of the detrimental effects it will have on this ecologically sensitive area of Thurston County. And since you are receiving and have received details of why so many residents feel this area isn't appropriate for such expansion, I'll just add that I support all the reasons that have been stated opposing expansion. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your engagement, Ms. King.
Thank you.
Lee Reiner.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
It seems weird that the other people got 3 minutes and we only got 2. It doesn't seem within protocol. You're changing the rules as we speak. But anyway, as a resident of 40 years here in Thurston County, we're only here because we love Thurston County. We need an environmental impact statement on this airport expansion. This airport expansion will affect families. It will affect children. It'll affect our entire economy along this I-5 corridor, this place that we love deeply. Port commissioners have been lobbied. They've been lobbied by the Washington State Ports Commission. They have been lobbied by the Economic Development Council. They have been lobbied by the Chamber of Commerce. The bottom line is money, money, money. They have been lobbied by money. And then the rest of us, we're talking about quality of life. We're talking about environment issues. Oh, they have to wait till the end of the meeting to speak. We got new rules. Let's change all of this. I'm sorry. I'm very unhappy that it seems like we are not being listened to. The question and answer session that Alex Smith said that we're going to have is not applicable. We don't need more question and answers. We need to say no to this airport expansion. As was said before, the FAA, the Federal Aviation Commission, specifically cautions airports on the need to complete an environmental review, which is an EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, if there is a lot of opposition to a plan. This is FAA Order 1051F. An EIS is required when the impacts of the proposed action, after incorporating any mitigation commitments, remain significant to the human environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reiner. Marianne Tompkins, I believe. I can't read those.
You're right. Good evening. Good evening, commissioners. First, I really want to thank you for your service and thank you for letting me speak. I am here in opposition to the expansion of the Olympia Airport. We are in a climate crisis. We have a new administration that has seriously damaged our country's commitment to clean energy and cleaner air. And Washington State is, and we should be proud of this, a leader, and we continue to be a leader for the climate. Other states look to us. Now, for those of us that live in Olympia, the expansion of the Olympia Airport's a mistake for our climate and our health. With the reversal of federal progress on climate, the things we do at the state and local level in Washington are more important than ever. We cannot afford business as usual and add more air traffic pollution to our already fragile climate. We have to make sure our regional clean energy accomplishments will not falter, and we must continue our climate leadership. So please do not expand the Olympia Airport, and thank you again for listening.
Thank you very much. The next name I'm seeing is John Cezanne.
He's been asked to unmute.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, Mr. Cezanne.
Okay, thank you. So on the published agenda that went out earlier, there was this modification to the lease agreement for the Panattoni contract. So that's what prompted me to want to talk about that tonight. At some point, I assume Mr. Hendrickson will be going over the proposed amendments with you, and I assume he will want you to approve these modifications. I'd like the commissioners to be informed as to what the ramifications for not approving these amendments would be. I think that if there is any way that we can get out of this development arrangement with Panattoni, we should. Developing this parcel of land for more warehousing was not something this community needed nor wanted. When this agreement was initially being considered, 200 local citizens publicly expressed opposition to it at a Tumwater City Council meeting. Their concerns were over a variety of negative impacts, ranging from noise and carbon pollution, water and flood control issues, the safety and health of nearby residential neighborhoods and the children and staff at the Bush Middle School, and to the loss of urban tree canopy. This was a bad deal for the port was supposed to be, for the community that this port was supposed to be servicing. Economic development is important, but we have to balance the benefits versus the costs. In this case, the environmental and health costs are too much. This commission exists to protect and serve the community and to protect the properties that has been given in trust. It should be prioritizing the health and well-being of the citizens and the environment we exist in over the prospect of making some money. A healthy ecology provides the foundation for future economic well-being. Protecting our environment should be the top priority for this commission to meet its mandate for economic development. The Panattoni development was the wrong decision, and if possible, it should be reversed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cezanne. Oh, Tom Mumford, here you are.
You wanted to speak?
Yes, please.
He's been asked to unmute.
Mr. Mumford, are you available to testify?
I am. Am I going now?
Yes, we're ready for you.
Thank you. This is Tom Mumford. I'm a resident of Thurston County, and I thank you, Commission, for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to speak in opposition to the expansion of the airport as proposed. And coming at the end of this, I can say, first of all, that I agree with points that Randy Thompson made about this being a poor business decision. You have witnessed this at your own airport, losing regional aircraft. Painfield, Bellingham are all struggling. This may not be a very good business opportunity here. Secondly, that I'm not an expert on SEPA, but it would appear that if not legally, you have at least violated the spirit of SEPA in the proceedings way that you proceeded here. Thirdly, Marianne just spoke to this. Aircraft are one of the worst polluters for carbon emissions going. This is not the direction the port should be encouraging or going towards. I would encourage you to think very carefully also about the fact that most of the aircraft apparently are going to be private, not public. So two things. On a positive note, you should be thinking much more constructively about public transportation that doesn't pollute and also is more socially equitable than, say, private aircraft versus commercial aircraft. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and good luck with all this.
Thank you, Mr. Mumford. Thanks for waiting this out. And we have two more speakers left. I'm going to call on Brenda. And Brenda, if you wouldn't mind stating your full name when you come on, that would be great.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to have input at this meeting. I did email a very lengthy comment, several in fact, one being in November of 2022. I have been a lifelong resident and lived in East Olympia for over 60 years, and historically we were Chambers Prairie, neighboring Bush Prairie. I agree with the speakers in opposition, and a lot of their concerns were the same concerns I had. So to make it a little more brief, what I'd like to speak about is that I'm opposing the plan and any growth and any increase in air traffic. I wanted to remind the port, and I did in one of my emails, that the reason that is groundwater for our wildlife, fish, and safe drinking water for humans. Water is life. Water, we need and request detailed environmental reports that specifically address how expansion could affect the Deschutes River and its surrounding critical habitat areas. Also, how growth and increased biofuels from increased air traffic could threaten the aquifer that supplies drinking water to Olympia. I have a great concern of contamination of the PFAS for groundwater and also biofuels that can threaten not just our water, but also prairie life and humans. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I hope that I can check with you and make sure you all did get my emails.
Thank you, Brenda. Would you share your name so we can check for your email, your last name?
Oh, what I thought I spoke and said that maybe I wasn't clear. Brenda Wilmoth, Wilmoth. And I do think we need in-depth studies. Thank you.
Thank you. Miranda Mellis, thank you for your patience. You're up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all you commissioners for your service. I echo everyone's concerns and oppose the expansion of the airport. I wanted also to mention the public health costs, right? Public health it will be impaired and negatively impacted, particularly for children. Clinicians note and researchers note that children are especially vulnerable to the negative health effects of noise pollution. And noise pollution contributes to many health problems, including heart problems, high blood pressure, mental health issues, speech interference, gastritis, all kinds of problems that come with noise pollution, not to mention all the environmental concerns. So please, focus instead on investing, as one prior speaker said, on public transportation and not on airport expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker, Michelle Peterson.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. My name is Michelle Peterson. I was born here in Olympia, Washington, 55 years ago at the Old State St. Pete's Hospital. I request that you please work more closely with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife in planning with this moving forward, which there's no reason to move forward with expanding the airport right now. The Department of Fish and Wildlife has requested in at least 2 different letters to engage with you more, as far as I know. I also ask that you try to make airport planning a more democratic process using county-wide questionnaires, surveys, and more public outreach. I also wanted to say that I see a misplaced focus by this body on the convenience of people who don't want to have to drive to SeaTac. If my dad is listening, he'll be upset. He's looking forward to it, but really, this is not the time to be doing this. And I, again, as former commissioner said, we first need to have the financial cost-benefit analysis. But this isn't what this master plan is about. It's about becoming a major regional hub. You may have been told that many elements of the plan won't be implemented anytime soon. I would suggest that this is not so clear. The governor asked for communities to volunteer to become regional hubs to take off pressure from SeaTac. The port wants to volunteer to fill that role. It sees dollars. We don't even know what the cost benefit will be yet. If the goal was to increase services by merely 5% and give people a convenient way to travel, the master plan would not contain the vast number of elements that you claim won't be used anytime soon. And we need this adjusted in this process. So please don't think this will be about convenience for your constituents. This is about becoming a regional hub. The noise and pollution you would foist on us will be your legacy. And I also want to say that this is really not the time with what's going on in the world to focusing on private planes. You understand the ramifications of how this could really blow back with you. Please share the financial cost benefit analysis once you have it. Thank you. Good night. And thanks for your time, you all.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, for that. All right, so that closes public hearing. And with that, we will continue on to item K, Commissioner Reports Discussion. Who would like to start?
Sure, I'll go. So I just wanted to let everyone know I am changing my name. As Commissioner Harding mentioned, I'll be Commissioner Montano going forward. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Mon.
Follow you, Commissioner Montano now. No, thank you, President. I just am looking forward to presenting at the Tenino Chamber in a few weeks. I had the opportunity to, I lost my train of thought there, but go ahead. That's my thought.
All right, Commissioner Sanders, we can come back to you if you have a new thought.
Thank you.
Commissioner Isle.
Yeah, I'll just mention that I did attend the Solid Waste Advisory Board meeting. It appears we have a little bit of admin work to do to get the transition from Commissioner Harding to myself to represent the port at those meetings, but I'm sure we'll get that taken care of. I also attended last week quarters one holiday open house on JBLM. The commanding officer there was opened up his home graciously to have some guests in. They weren't able to do it over the holidays, so we did it in February. That worked out for everybody though. One quick announcement: I do have a commissioner town hall scheduled for February 27th. It's at, I believe, 5:30 at the Nisqually Middle School. So I hope to see you. To see you there, and we can talk all things Port of Olympia.
My quote of the day is from Deepak Chopra. If a child is poor in math but good at tennis, most people would hire a math tutor. I would rather hire a tennis coach. Liked that one.
Thank you, Commissioner Harding.
Indeed.
My mind is once more spinning. It's Jasmine Vasavada, about the things that I heard today and the follow-up that I'm thinking about. I wanted to share that I've requested staff to set up a meeting. I would like to understand better from Panattoni their vision for what they're actually planning to do to develop the parcels they're moving forward with, if they were to move forward under the option to lease agreement that was ratified by the previous Port Commission. And I would like to have a public conversation when staff is ready about what I heard in comment about the Panattoni plan not being consistent with the New Markets Industrial Campus master plan, because as I looked at it, it did seem to be supported by the master plan. So I'm interested in looking into that a little bit more as well. Finally, as we move forward, we have a number of touch points now on the airport planning. We have a town hall that's Wednesday, February 26th at 5:30 p.m. And my understanding is the announcement will go out about that through our listserv and on the website tomorrow, well, by Wednesday of this week. So that's 2 weeks and 2 days from now. And of course, the commission will be asked to make some decisions about approving that plan in March. My understanding is that the plan goes along with several components, one of which is a study that's sort of procured through the FAA's grant, but there are subcomponents to the master plan. And I'm looking forward to understanding more of the subcomponents. And also, I've talked with Director Smith in my one-on-one. It seems that to the extent a lot of this is around the possible return of commercial service to the Olympia Airport, that we probably need to have more of a commission level conversation, a temperature check about whether that's something that in general the commission is supportive of looking into. Because if that is the case, then I do think that is a specific thing that if the commission was saying, yep, as 3 out of 5 of us are supportive of it, I do think that would be an action that would trigger the kind of environmental impact statement that we're hearing is desired by the community. And for me, especially at this time, the carbon impacts are very important for me to understand of what the transportation currently is for people moving to say across to Spokane or wherever small regional service might serve, versus what happens. I've heard it said that air travel is the dirtiest form of travel. Like, that's something I'd want to understand, and maybe that's through the EIS that we best understand that. So that's where I'm thinking, and I just wanted to share that in this moment, in this forum. That's it for my commissioner report. I'm sorry it was so long. Let's look at the agenda. Other business? None. Right. Meeting announcements.
They're coming up. All right, upcoming meetings on Tuesday, February 18th at 5 p.m. is the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting here in the Olympics room. On Monday, February 24th, we have our next commission business meeting. It'll be 5:30 p.m. again here in the Olympics room. On Monday, March 10th, we have the business meeting for the first meeting in March for the commission at 5:30 p.m. here in the Olympics room. And on Monday, March 24th, we also have the business meeting for the commission. And folks have also mentioned, just so folks are aware, on Monday, March 24th is when we plan to bring back the airport master plan for the commission to consider whether to approve. As part of that as well, it will be asking the commission, if it approves it, to adopt it into the comprehensive scheme of harbor improvements. That kind of an adoption requires a public hearing. The public hearing is related to the adoption of the airport master plan update into the comprehensive scheme. That will all happen on March 24th. And then, as Commissioner Sabata has noted, on the 26th is the February is the question and answer with the airport senior manager, as well as our environmental staff, and whoever many commissioners would like to attend. And then, as Commissioner Eyal indicated, on the 27th of February is his town hall at the Nisqually Middle School. So that's the meetings coming up. Oh, okay. I will try to speak more loudly. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. With that, that was the last meeting announcement. We will adjourn.